it or not. There is a moment meant for us, and now you made it, but I already played this. Not interested, open your eyes, let's get it done. Take my hand, just follow me. Shadow and me are one.
Welcome to USA Taekwondo Summer of Poomsae. I am one half of the dynamic duo, Sherman and Jason. You guess which half. And there's the other half over there. He's the other half, and you guess which one he is. But together, we are Sherman and Jason. So, mystery person, are you ready for the final episode?
Of course I'm ready, and I'm ready for a lot of reasons, but I'll tell you this. This has been the adults competition to this point. Man, if our younger generation is anything like these guys, our future could not be brighter because they are so world class. So I want to congratulate to this point every competitor that's competed here at the Summer of Poomsae because it's been phenomenal. I've been so impressed with your ability to compete, but also just to be able to continue with round after round of making little improvements and, of course, bettering your scores and ultimately getting yourself on that podium. So congratulations again from myself and from Sherman. As we know, you guys have been working hard, but Sherm, we have the final episode, the finals. You ready?
Let's get to it.
The under 30 male black belt finals. This one's going to be a barn burner. It is Casey Liu competing, Daniel Lee, Justin Chen, Emil Dravid, Ethan Sun, Brian Maher, Alex Lee, and Kevin Zhang. Those are your 8 finalists competing for that coveted title. How about the under 30 female black belt division? Let's do it. Angela Tortoro, Trinity Wong, Yerim Zhang, Adalis AJ Munoz, Carissa Westman, Christy Park, Karen Real, and Haley Raw. Those are our 8 finalists. Good luck to you as you're competing for that ultimate first place championship. Last for me, here you go. Ready? It's the over 65, the seasoned veterans in the male black belt division. It is Jim Harp, Bruce Gallup, Mitchell Dillard, Ken Thorpe, and Zhang He Pak. Gentlemen, good luck in the finals for your chance to win that coveted title.
Throw it to me. And I will start with the female over 65 black belts, Dorinda Bell, Diana Hunt, Erica Lindhorst, and Tweety Wynn. Ladies, best of luck to you. Then we have the under 50 male black belts, Chindong Wang, Armand Morin, Todd Brown, Angelito Ong, Victor Chung, Michael John Bulgarin, Krishna Sitaram, and Pak Sun Yang. Sorry about that. That's our under 50 male black belts. And then we have our under 50 female black belts. Yin Ju Chu, Jennifer Mitchell, Julie Erickson, Shannon Haddock, Susan Bird, Toon Nguyen, Sheena Kim, and Sung Jin Lee. That rounds out the final competitors in this iteration of Summer of Poomsae. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get it.
Let's do it. Send it out to our announcers. Coming back with the results. Can't wait for it, Sherm. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with your results.
And here are our referees for episode 8. If you need to, go ahead and pause this, go grab a snack and come on back. Here's our first competitor.
This is Christopher Peace. He's from East West Taekwondo, which is located in Maryland. And this is the final round for the men's under 50 blue belt division. And we see him here opening up with Yukjong.
I love this. He's off to a great start. I love the space too. Nice and bright, cheerful, happy. I want to train there as well. Oh, by the way, I'm national coach and 2020 U.S. national team member Barbara Brand, and I'm here with commentator extraordinaire Miyako Yerick. Here on episode...
Hi, everyone. And Coach Brand, you know, this studio East West is pretty close to me in Maryland. And I know Chris, actually. I help train his kids who are competing in the cadet and the junior divisions, which we know, even though today's episode has a lot of finals, those cadets and juniors are coming up. So we are going to start to see a bunch of episodes coming up here in the next few weeks of those cadets and juniors.
And oh my, those divisions are huge. We have over 340 athletes in those divisions. I'm so excited to be able to start viewing those coming up. So definitely, don't think this is the end of our story. We have much more coming up in the Summer of Poomsae. And here's just continuing with Taeguk Sajan. How's he looking, Miyako?
Pretty good. You know, I just saw the semis in the last episode for Chris, and I do think that he could extend his stances a little bit. He's very tall, so he needs to make those front stances a little bit deeper and longer, but really good potential. And I just love that he can train with, you know, his daughter and son, and his wife is their coach. So it's a great family affair. I really love hanging out with them and getting to know them all a little better.
Yeah, the referees might have noted the same thing. We have to be careful of our accuracy. The judges kind of take little nicks at us as we go through our performance for every time we have an accuracy issue. And then at the end of the performance, then they start giving us our presentation scores. Those are the nice, yummy ones that make us feel good about our, you know, all of our hard work with power and speed and the coordination of our rhythm and timing and our energy that we're showing with each performance. Oh, here's Casey Liu. Casey Liu is in Southern California, trains under Master Justin Wang at Just Taekwondo.
시작!
And this is the start of the finals for men's under 30 black belt division. So we now have the top 8 under 30 men here competing in this black belt division. It's going to be really high level caliber Poomsae. And we're going to have a fight off for those top 8 spaces.
Casey has a lot of experience. He's a well-seasoned athlete. He looks great in his first Poomsae choreo.
Yeah, he's really showing great flexibility and control of those kicks. Choreo has a ton of front kicks and side kicks, but he's showing really great height, flexibility, control. So opening up this division with a really good form. So he's going to set the bar high here for the judges.
Yeah, he's really increased his strength over the years. You could see that with that core really steady throughout his performance.
Can it show 30 seconds break?
So we got a score here of 7.23 for Casey's first form of choreo.
시작!
Oh, and who doesn't love Sipchin for a second form? Very balanced. This was a little tricky on this first line, trying to get all the accuracy components in there just right and be able to let the judges know that you're off to the races with good rhythm and tempo as you go. There's some tricky little steps right in here athlete has to be concerned about in order to land on the beginning mark and stay balanced throughout.
And we saw a lot of Shipjin in episode 7, which aired just a couple days ago. And one of the things that Carissa and I noted is that it really helps to keep your head flat as you go through that first bar, because judges can really see if you come up and down as you move side to side. And Casey did a really great job of keeping a really low stance and just gliding across the floor. And here's the only kicks here in Shipjin.
And did a great job on those, ending with that strong back fist at the end of that front line there. And finishing up here at the final steps of Sipjin. This is Casey Liu in the under male division. Good job to Casey. That was very solid.
Kenny, Show.
And his score is 7.2 for that second Poomsae there. And now his total score is going to be coming up in just a second. 7.22. We're off to a good start with a strong competitor. And hey, he's in first place. Good job, Casey. That's a great
Just
way to
crushed
start.
everyone.
Feels wonderful.
준비.
Second competitor here is Daniel Lee from Kim's K Taekwondo, coached by Sungjin Kim. Another huge opening there with those side kicks.
You
Wow.
see that? Oh my goodness, that looked fantastic. Good job. Just that power off the floor. Fantastic.
Yeah, you can tell we're in the senior 1 division with these kicks.
This one
Also an
he could
aggressive
go-
tempo.
Oh, yeah. I hope it's coming through on everybody's screen. And maybe you guys want to go ahead and connect this to your widescreen television at home, get on YouTube on there and see this, because this is a very dynamic division and a lot to be learned here. As Miyako mentioned, there was a lot of Sipchin so far in the event, and that's great because we can learn so much by watching other competitors. And same thing true of choreo here, right? Miyako, lots of choreo in this event.
Absolutely. It's a really hard form. I know I've said this a lot of times, but people seem to be comfortable with it because we have done it for so many years. But at the same time, it's always hard. It's not an easy form. The front kick bar, you have to push that tempo. The side kicks are always difficult. The only form you have that double side kick. So always more to work on in choreo.
He was well rewarded for that first Poomsae choreo, 7.47, and off to the races here with Sipchin. Again, attacking every single step, really driving through with his core every opportunity he has.
Absolutely. He has such a great body turn on these motions when he goes into the punches in choreo as well. Really good core engagement, and the shoulders really turn. He is not square, so showing really great engagement.
And as you mentioned earlier, pretty steady in his stance height, which allows him to really drive forward without a lot of up and down motion that will trigger the attention of the judges and give him a few accuracy deductions. But no sign of that here as he goes on this kick line, shooting for the ceiling tiles there. Oh, I think he hit one. And now that calm and steady finish.
And this Team K is coming onto the scene here in the past few years, coming out really strong. I hadn't heard of them a few years ago, and now there's just a ton of athletes from this team. Really good. I think that it's great that they have teammates to train with as well. And again, rewarded here, big score of 7.47 on that Shipjin for Daniel Lee.
And he takes that first place spot. Yeah, that Team K, they were very little boys at one time, and they all seem to have grown up and blossomed into these wonderful athletes, and now they're really strong at every event. And here's Justin Chen from Eagle Taekwondo, and his coach is Master Jung Jin.
시작.
And you know, Coach Brand, one of the things that we keep talking about is keeping your head level. And maybe the athletes watching are saying, well, I don't know how to do that. And so one of the things you can do, especially as you're transitioning from front stance to front stance, is dipping that front knee down so that you can push through, keeping your head at the same level. Otherwise, you will come up.
That is challenging for a lot of athletes because their knee tends to wobble during the transition. So that's definitely something maybe you as an athlete, if you're watching here, you can talk to your coach about, your master. How can you make sure these transitions are nice and smooth?
And Justin here doing a great job at those smooth transitions. Again, great flexibility, good side kicks coming through. Maybe not quite as aggressive of a tempo that we saw Daniel Lee take, but very solid overall. I think accuracy will be high.
Yeah, everybody has a bit of a strategy, right, as they go from form to form. And his was, strong and steady. Looked like his strategy there. So, oh, wow, look at that. 7.63. Well done.
Yeah, nice high scores both again on that technical and presentation side.
준비.
So I'm
And
guessing.
so Coach Brand, you competed in this event, and I wonder, since I didn't compete, when you go into the finals and you're recording these forms beforehand, do you have a different approach? Like, I'm going to take this one really aggressive, or I'm going to try out a new speed or anything like that between rounds, or do you just get a comfortable run in?
Yeah, it's more like the philosophy of attack, attack, attack. That's my strategy these days. Let's try to go as hard and as strong as I can in the division. And I've been putting a lot of time and effort into it, just like all the athletes have, right? We just hope that we can capture it in the video. And I applaud everybody out there who did do it time and again, just to make sure that you're representing yourself as well as possible, because this format here is new. We're not used to it. There have been a couple of events in spring and summer, but not enough for any of us to feel like, oh, we just have this down 100%. So it's an experiment and it's fun.
Right, I do think that it's nice. I know some of my teammates were like, well, should I try one style in one round and a different style in another round just to see how the scores come out? And we were like, no, don't do that. But I do think everyone that I've seen so far throughout the first episodes have put out really great performances. And Justin Chen just finishing up here, I do think we had a little bit of different heights on some of his mountain blocks, but that was the only accuracy thing that I could see. Otherwise, really great presentation and another big score here.
Yeah, 7.6 on his second Poomsae there. And his final score is popping up right here at 7.62. So really strong performance, his strategy of that strong and steady, look at that, fantastic results. So I would just say for most people, if they just did them, right, you just want to do you and do your best at that and make sure that that video really represents you well. I love this guy, Emil Javid. I just love this setting here. So it's so foreign to me here in California. I'm guessing this is a basement. We don't really have those here. So tell me, Miyako, what is Emil up to?
Well, you know, he added mats for the finals round, which is, I feel like he should have added those mats when he was doing Kumgang. But he has some mats down. Again, showing his great flexibility and control. I feel like he's somewhat new to this division and really just jumping up there into the finals. So I think he's doing a really great showing, a little bit of a different style from some of the other athletes that we've seen. And I'm just glad that he found a place that was super clear and he could train and perform at. And all those lamps really help. So great setup.
I remember the first performance that you're mentioning, and I thought he shattered his kneecaps on his Kumgang. He was slamming them so hard. I was like so impressed with his strength in that. And looks like he recovered pretty well. He didn't show any signs of shattering his kneecaps. I was just imagining that, by the way. But 7.47 on his first Poomsae choreo. He had really nice height of his kicks. And this lighting kind of strategy is interesting too. It's a little bit easier for the athletes as far as what the video is going to produce. So it might be just a little bit further away than what he has him, but he does have that front lighting, which is a really good idea. Just as he's going through, we just want to make sure that that steady lighting so the referees see you at your best. There's just one point here on that where it's a little bit harsh for him. So that can be a little bit tricky. It's right there in the dead center. But other than that, he's got no issues with that. And this reception looks really great. I hope he doesn't bump into that.
Oh man, he's hitting the wires.
That's great.
So athletes, tip for Shipjin, always start a square ahead because you do go to that back bar first. And I've seen many athletes step out of the ring, take deductions. Thankfully, no deductions here for running into your power generator back there. So great composure to keep going even while your hands were hitting that, Emil.
Well, Sipchin is a cruel friend, right? You don't realize that that's going to happen, and all of a sudden you're there. If you're tall, I would never come close to anything because I'm pretty shrimpy. But for tall athletes like Emil, he does have to be careful. See, that harsh lighting right there is what I was a little bit concerned about, but no problem. That seemed to be a very minor thing as he moved through the form. So good job, Emil. Don't listen to me. 7.7 on that second Poomsae for Emil Javid, and 7.58. Does that put him in second?
I believe so.
It does.
Yeah, so he had a huge score in that second form, pulled up his total score a little bit, but still behind Justin, who's going to hold on to that first place spot for now.
And Daniel Lee with that attacking style now in third place. So let's see what his teammate does here.
This is Ethan's son. He's from Eagle Taekwondo in California. And we are now into the second half of this division already.
It's going fast, almost too fast for me. I'm really enjoying this, and I wish that I could, see up close what they're doing. I wish I was there in their training facility with them. Not only to see the form, but also to talk through the strategy with them and see what they're hoping to accomplish here in this Summer of Poomsae event. Our first
so Coach Brand,
ever.
You're one of the national team coaches. If you were coaching one of these athletes and they're in the final round, say you were there in person, this was a live event, what would you tell them between form 1 and 2 in this finals round?
I'll say, do what you know to do. Make sure your breathing's under control. You're steady. We're not going to be trying anything new. That always shakes up out. Try to put a lot of changes in there. But hopefully they're well practiced before they get there, and their performance will be just like their practice is. And I remember one of our first coaches, Master Jimmy Kim. Wow, look at that. Ethan Sen with 7.83.
Good score.
Coach Jimmy Kim saying, practice every day like you're at the World Championships. And when you're at the World Championships, imagine that you're practicing. So we don't want any big changes on that last day.
And that's a great approach. I think it's hard sometimes to really put that pressure on yourself every day in practice, but it does make those big tournaments then a lot more comfortable. And like we mentioned, a huge score for Ethan's son here on that first form. If he can keep a consistent score on the second one, he will be in first place. And look at how grounded he is, Coach Brand. He is really bending his stance and staying low to the ground.
And really great volume on all of these hand techniques.
I think these are the lowest stances I've ever seen. His bends are so low.
Yeah, and I can just imagine him practicing the same way every day that he trains. It does us no good as Poomsae athletes to pick kind of a medium speed when we're training, although it might be human nature to kind of fall into that. We might be checking numerous things, but there has to be a good deal of our practice done at that competitive speed.
Absolutely. And I can't remember the name now, but there's a theorist who says in order to become a master, you have to put in 10,000 hours of practice. And that's a lot of hours, but it also can't be just practice of walking through the motions. It has to be really intentional practice where you're totally focused. And it's hard to rack up that many hours of totally focusing. And I know that Eagles Taekwondo does a lot of really great practicing where they really do drill in and focus. So Ethan's son coming away here with a really great second form as well.
Yeah, I remember that theory discussed in a book by Malcolm Gladwell. So
that's who it was.
If you're into that kind of reading, it's well worth your time and effort. He has several books out, and he talks about the importance of three things. One is having great coaching. The other one is having an opportunity. And the third one is having the desire. If you're missing any one of those things, it's very difficult to excel in competition. But if you have all three, that's the right recipe.
Yeah, I think that's a great book for athletes to check out. And we did see a total score of 7.8 for Ethan's son. So he is in first place for now with 3 more athletes to go. And here we have Brian.
I mentioned the author, Malcolm Gladwell. The name of the book is called The Tipping Point. So if you're a parent of an athlete or an athlete yourself, that might be some good reading, kind of a light read in terms of length of the book, but very helpful.
And not just applicable to Taekwondo, but really, anything, any art you're doing, dance, music, it's all applicable. It's really intentional practice and making sure that you approach things in the right way so that all of your practice goes towards helping you get better. And I'm sure that Brian here also has done a lot of that intentional practicing because, like I mentioned, he is new to this division. He's just 17, turning 18 this year. And putting up huge scores so far, national team member in the past, and let's see what the judges think of his choreo.
7.73. Wow, the judges are really loving this division. A lot of high scores here.
준비.
7.73 on the first one, and here's Brian with his second Poomsae
시작.
So he appears a little bit taller on screen. Not sure how tall he is, but I'm gonna be looking at his stances here to see if he has a strong base and good balance as he moves from step to step.
Right, choreo maybe makes him look great because he has those long limbs to really show the extensions on the kicks, but Shipjin, especially this first bar, you're so grounded, and Ethan, remember, was so low in those stances, so having to compare this totally different body type, he's gonna have to stay really clean in order to compare against Ethan's form.
Yeah, on that first line, he had a little bit of pre-movement where he was transitioning from one step to the other, and we know we have to keep one foot solid and still, and he had just a little bit of some quivering from step to step, so that may impact his accuracy score. I'm guessing he's going to kick super high here, hit one of those flags maybe. Behind his head. I'd like to see that back leg super locked in.
바로.
But the referees tended to really enjoy his first
경례.
performance. I'm imagining he's going to get a pretty good score on this one as
퇴장.
well.
Absolutely, and Brian again is from World Champion Taekwondo in Fairfield, and his masters are Master Gunsu Kim and Master KJ Ha. And here we go with a 7.67 on his second form for a total of 7.7. So we did drop just a little bit on that second form, but still a 7.7 total, which puts him in second place with just 2 more competitors to go.
And I know Daniel Lee and Casey Liu must be thinking to themselves, what the heck? I went out there and I did a great job. And you did. Your performances were stellar.
Absolutely. I think everybody here in this finals should feel really good about the performances that they put in. All of these scores are in the 7s. So just really high level of competition. Again, multiple of these athletes have been on the national team before, including here, Alex Lee, again from Eagle Taekwondo in California, pushed by Master Jin. And again, lots of accolades that we could talk about, including a gold medal at the recent Pan Am Games for the male individual traditional division.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough time to discuss all of his achievements. He's well decorated. Take our word for it. Alex Lee is a strong performer, and one would think maybe the favorite going to this final round.
Right. So second place right now from semis coming into finals, and he's going to be battling it out here for that first place spot.
I think where Alex really excels is in his rhythm and tempo. In his Poomsae, he's always so smooth and at the same time very sharp, with the power. So I imagine he will get got a gajillion points right there. 8.0, the first 8 that we've seen in this episode. Cheers, Alex. Good job on that one.
Yeah, really finishing strong here. Again, the first 8 we've seen in this division so far. We'll see if he can top himself with Shipjin. And that really is the way you should think about your forms, is competing against yourself and competing against the judges. Especially with this format, you can't see anybody else. You can't adjust to the judges. You can't adjust to the judges. You have to just do your best form. It's like the ultimate you do you tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex here doing a really great job. We might have had just a slight bobble on the first move. Otherwise, a nice quick tempo here and flat, staying really grounded to the ground.
Agreed. I think it'd be really tough to beat his first score here with Shipjin just because of the nature of the Poomsae. In choreo, he had the benefit of using those high side kick skills, right? A number of times. We have 4 side kicks in Shipjin. In this one, there's a lot of accuracy work done and hand technique done into this line coming up right here, these front kicks. So if he gets over an 8 on this one, I'll be surprised and congratulatory at the same time, because this would be no easy feat for him to get an 8 on this.
Right, and Shipton is also one of the longer forms, so there are more moves that you could get deductions on. Whereas, Pyongwon is really short, so there's not very many moves. Shipton, one of the longest forms that we compete with.
Yeah, and sometimes we see an 8 and our eyeballs want to see another 8 right away. That's really tough to do. Good job to Alex on his Shipton performance. Let's see how he scores. Oh, and there you have it, 7.83 for Alex Lee on that challenging Sipchin, but still in first place, handily so, right? So that was our last competitor of the division?
No, we have one more, Coach Brian. We have Kevin Jung, who's still up. So Alex is holding on for now, but we have one more competitor to go.
So exciting. This is going to be a run for it. I had counted 8 real quick on my sheet and did not see Kevin Jang there. Now, he looked great in his semifinal round. I remember him in that narrow space that he was working with there on Kungong. Those legs are way up high.
Yeah, and I really like his body coming up after the side kick so quickly. It's not a slow coming back up. We'll see another side kick bar here and watch that upper body and how quickly it comes up.
And everything matters in your presentation. I just think when he came up on the screen, he just looks really great. And that haircut does not hurt either.
In the last episode, I was talking with Carissa, her husband, Dave Chan. His hair is so long and it's in his eyes. He has this funny little ponytail. I was like, you need to cut it off, but he needs a haircut like Kevin's here.
We definitely don't want any hair in our eyes. That can be very distracting for the referees. No offense to anyone who might have done that. But that attention to detail right there, that he just put that extra touch, makes me think like he's put that detail everywhere. So 7.2 for Kevin Jang might have been a little bit disappointing score for him because, going into these finals, he was sitting pretty high up there. I didn't really catch the detail in the
Well, we did see there was a 0.6 deduction that was noted. So he did go out of screen maybe, and that would have given him a 7.8, which would have been a contending score. So, filming here, we're realizing is so important. You have to stay fully in the screen, especially in this finals round.
That's just a shame because he's such a strong competitor. We don't want him to lose any opportunity because of such a thing as, how he videoed his performance. But we do have to be careful. We had another athlete get a 0.9 for going out of frame, and that is just too much to recover from.
I will say, though, at least in the finals here, everybody in the whole tournament is getting ranking points. But these top 8 athletes will get the most ranking points compared to the semifinals and prelim round. So he will be getting a significant number here, and he'll have lots of other opportunities to compete. And again, it's nice that, this isn't the determining tournament like nationals or team used to be. You have to go to multiple tournaments. You have to collect points, go to majors. With lots of pathways now, this isn't the end of the team for him. He has multiple other chances.
Right. Well, my heart goes out to him here. I'm sure he'll rebound and get right back in the game in his next event.
And we do see that the judges are responding well to his style. So if he can just stay in the screen, we'll see if he gets any more deductions on the second form. So
there you go.
One more deduction there as well. So that would have been a 7.63, but instead we have a 7.33 with that deduction and a total score of 7.27.
Knocked him down into, was that 7th place?
That was 7th place, yeah. So congratulations to Alex Lee, who took the division.
And Ethan Sun in 2nd place on that division. Here is our female under 30 division, starting off with Angela Takora from Team M in the Bay Area, San Francisco. Nice high kicks, reaching really high.
I really like their house. I want to visit. There's such big windows and that fancy lamp up there. The family photos in the hallway in the back.
Yeah, it looks like she's moving toward that awesome view outside in her patio. And it looks like there's another awesome view out the other side.
Yeah, she almost landed there on the fireplace step, came down just next to it. So good eye control there. So not showing any distraction in her face and controlling those massive kicks. She's also very young, just starting to enter into this division. So she will do quite well in the years to come, I'm sure.
Wow, look at that great start, 7.77. We are off to the races here. We started quite a bit lower than that with the male division, worked our way up, and we're starting off with a booming score right off the bat for Angela Tortora.
And Kumgang here for the second form, always a difficult form, especially in the finals. You've already done all your rounds and your sixth form is Kumgang.
Many athletes have a love-hate relationship with Kumgang for sure. Those days
I just have a hate-hate relationship.
Yeah, the days where everything feels balanced and sure, it's wonderful. She had a little bit of a boop there on that turn, and now trying to finish in a recovered way there and get onto the next step, which she does handily.
And there are lots of trainings you can do for Kumgang. I know some athletes use those little half bosu ball things where you can balance on it. You can do ankle exercises. You can try and engage different muscles. But I really think it is just a matter of trying a bunch of things until you find what works for you. And what works for you may not work for your teammate or your friends. So just do a lot of reps, figure out how to shift your weight before you go into the turns and pickups, and just best of luck. It's challenging for everyone.
And don't get psyched out, right? We're just picking up one leg and putting it next to picking one foot and putting it next to the other leg, and it turns into this whole other, much more complicated thing. So here's Angela with her second form. Nice score, 7.53, just a little bit lower than her first one, and ends up with 7.65 as her final score.
That's a huge score coming from our first athlete. And the way that the order happens for finals is that it's the rankings of the scores from the semis, and then it goes in reverse order. So you would expect, some amount of movement as people have better rounds. But basically, your highest scoring athlete from semis will go last, and the lowest scoring from the top 8 will go first. So Angela was 8th coming into this round, but opened with that massive 7.5, 7.6. So Trinity here, also from Team MCPT program in California. Let's see if she can come up with an equally high score.
Thanks for detailing how the finals work. For some of our first-time viewers, we want to make sure that you guys get as much entertainment as you can from this event. Just know that whoever was in first place at the end of the semifinals, they're going to go last. So we can build up our anticipation there, really get excited as we move through the athletes. So again, this is Trinity Wong from Sky Martial Arts and trains under Master Yoon.
Hello.
I also like the name. I think it says Trinity there above the fireplace.
And finishing that with 7.77. I think that somebody here might, this is a prediction, Miyako. I don't know if I'm going to be right, but I'm thinking we're going to go over 8. What are you thinking?
In this division?
Yes.
Or in this round?
In this division.
I think it'll be on the first form. I don't honestly know if I've ever seen an 8 for Kumgang. It is just such a hard form. But I think for choreo, somebody might come up and give Alex a win for that 8 that he got.
8 for Kumgang, that would be historic. Although I think Pope Young has scored in the past with some pretty high Kumgang scores in the under 50 division. So he may be one to watch. He usually does pretty well with this form, that low center of gravity and sure step. And here's Trinity Wong trying to do the same here at her home in the Bay Area in California.
maybe not quite sitting as low as she could in some of those horse stances. And she is a little bit taller too, again, so it is hard for taller athletes to really sink in this form. But other than that, she is just really solid, showing some good power on the stomps. And we'll see if she can hold on to that second place spot that she came in with here, or if she will fall behind Angela.
I think a lot of people think if they're higher up, they're going to have more balance, but sometimes that just kicks them in the butt. You know, you have to be able to be in a solid horse stance, and sometimes when you're in a little iffy stance, a little high, a little low, doesn't really pay off. She looked like she was going a little bit lower toward the end there. Wow, look at that, 7.87.
A huge presentation. You know, we're talking, the judges clearly thought something else. So
That's great. 7.82 for Trinity Wong, her final score. Congratulations to Trinity. Very impressive.
Really great, Trinity. Great job holding that first place spot for now with 6 more athletes.
경례.
Oh, and that's
준비.
Yerim Jong.
Yerim
시작.
trains with her brothers and sisters. We got to see an interview in one of the past episodes, so great that she's now able to compete and make this U.S. team. She would have been going to Denmark on the women's female team senior 1, and here, so flexible. The ease of those front kicks is just great. It comes up so easily and basically no movement on her upper body.
It does. It's so fluid. I think we all need to get a few tips from her on the side kick, how she just raises it so effortlessly.
I remember I went to the US Open a few years ago and I had choreo in one of my rounds, and during that 8 count there, that slow motion all the way around, I was sick. And I was looking at the judges and I was like, don't tell how sick I am. It's always so funny when you're right in their face on some of those slow moves. Shipton is another one where you're doing that boulder push and looking straight at that center referee. But Yerim kept a great face, great concentration, 7.97 here. Again, this is only our 3rd athlete for this round, and we're already creeping up to that 8.0 score.
We're getting higher and higher as we go. Very exciting. And when you're talking about competing when you're not feeling your best, sometimes that's when our best performances come, because we just kind of go with what we know, go with what our instinct is, and sometimes that really pays off. We don't have time to be nervous because we're not feeling great. We just kind of get out there and do what we know to do. So I bet that was one of your better ones.
It was pretty solid. I think your body's so tired that all you can do is let your training come through, and your brain is not awake enough to really mess with you. So if you train hard, like we mentioned earlier, it will come out in your competition when you compete.
I don't know if you want to say it will come out.
Well, hopefully a good performance will shine through. Like we're seeing here from Yerim. She doesn't look sick at all. She looks great. Really solid Poomgong so far.
She seems pretty relaxed too, as she's going through both forms. Not a tense athlete at all. She seems very relaxed, very smooth. We've got a little bit of a shimmy on that bottom knee there, on that step, but overall, really good. Trying to hold on to that last juchu there, that last horse stance to complete the form. Let's see this. I can't wait. 7.77, so just under the last one, right? Just by a bit.
Right, but still going to be a really high score, and I think that should put her in first place.
I think so too. Oh yeah.
By 0.05 above Trinity.
Oh, pretty close for between Yerim Jong and Trinity Wong, with Angela Tortoro just behind. Here we have AJ Munoz from Texas here, just outside of Dallas, and starting off with choreo here.
And we saw AJ compete in an earlier division just an episode or 2 ago on freestyle. So congratulations, AJ, on that first place win in the women's individual freestyle event. It was a really great routine.
Yeah, she's attacking this quite well here. She was also on the team in recognized division as well as freestyle division in the past. So double threat here. And looking very strong as she's going through the Poomsae.
Different style from Yaram. Side kicks are maybe not quite as vertical, but just so clean, and you see the power coming through. So we'll see what the judges think. AJ has, again, done really well in the past in both traditional and freestyle, even though her style is different from some of the other athletes. So we'll see. Again, she came into this round in 5th place, so we'll see if she can move up from there.
Yeah, so I think AJ is going to try to highlight her strong core strength and just overall power. Starting off with 7.77, that's a really good score for her first one choreo. Now off to Sipchin. She does quite a nice Sipchin here. So her accuracy score, I imagine, will be coming up pretty high. And it's just a matter of, what are the judges exactly favoring here, right? What are they really looking for on these performances? Oh, sorry. Did I say Sipchin?
Kumgang.
About the male division here. Beginning off with Kumgang. So she has a solid Kumgang. She's always steady through the first line, setting the rhythm and the tempo right off the bat, and then hoping that the rest follows in place.
And you mentioned her strong core, and that really helps with a good Kumgang. And like you've mentioned, she is very solid at this form. I don't know if I've ever seen her really stumble through it. So I'm sure, especially with a video recording, we will get a good run here from AJ.
Well, and against other very long-legged athletes, with real high flexibility, going through the kicking techniques, this would definitely be one that would favor AJ, which is, more low center of gravity and strong technique from step to step. I think this really plays to her strengths, doing Kumgang here in the final round.
Absolutely. I think she will. She might even have a higher score in Kumgang than the first form, which I don't know if we've seen yet. So let's see what the judges think here, just finishing it out.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, looks like you're right. 7.9 on that second score, and we're definitely getting closer to those 8 scores of 8, which I mentioned earlier. I think we're probably going to hit. So she finishes with a 7.83. AJ Munoz now climbs up to second place. This is getting pretty intense. I think I'm going to have just a drink of kombucha real quick so that I can calm myself down here.
And she took that second place spot by just 1/100th of a point. So, all of these little accuracy things are 0.1, but you can make your spot by just 1/100th of a point. So really working through the accuracy to get that score as high as possible will really help your overall score. This next athlete is Carissa Westman from Flying V Martial Arts. And she's also very young, just aging up into this division. Most of these ladies actually in the top 8 are very young. AJ might be one of the older athletes at 23 or 24, and this division goes to 30. So it helps to come in young and have that flexibility. I remember Chris is also a sparring athlete as well as Poomsae, so nice, well-rounded. And I feel like especially now, those sparring with the front leg game, having good high side kicks in Poomsae and the control there will help you with your sparring as well.
Yeah, definitely. I hope everybody at Flying V Martial Arts is really proud of Carissa here. She's from Flying V Martial Arts, and her coach is Vincent Vienna. Starting off with a 7.57 in choreo, and maybe she'll be able to boost up her score here with Kumgang.
Opening up pretty strong, and a nice high knee here.
I like
so that thigh is parallel to the ground, and it is high up, and she's staying low.
It was beautiful. That was so horizontal. That's what we're really looking for, is that nice flat thigh across the top. And her stance height was pretty good on that too. Trying again for the same thing on her right side here. She could be just a little bit lower to make it even cleaner.
So the only negative thing about that bar on the windows behind her is that we can see where her head is on this 8 count. So when she does the spin, we'll see if she goes up and down.
Yeah.
You can tell there is a bit of a drop there as she goes through the spin.
Yeah, but I'm loving that raised leg on that Akdari Sogi. That is looking really good. Congratulations on getting that. Not a ton of wobbling either. Really solid. She has a lot of potential.
Hello.
I'm enjoying her performance.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see her again, very
Hello.
young, new to this division, maybe
Hello.
just a year or two in, I believe. So I'm looking forward to seeing her compete in the coming years.
And her second score is 7.50 and finishes up with 7.53. They were just about at the same level. And so she's at 5th place right now. We still have Yurim Jong, AJ Munoz, and Trinity Wong in the first 3 places.
Hi, I'm Christy Park. I'm 18 right now, so I'll be competing in the over 18 senior division for females. And I started Taekwondo about 10 years ago in 2010, exactly a decade now, I guess. And I've been competing for about 6 years now.
Have you done any competitions in the senior division yet, or will this be your first competition in the senior division?
My first competition was the Poomsae Lover online competition.
Okay.
So a couple weeks ago. It's a little underwhelming since everything's online, so we don't have the added pressure of being in the actual competition venue, but slowly getting used to it.
But what's it like going from the juniors to seniors? Is the competition different, or?
Definitely. I noticed that, or it could be also just because of the competitions that I've entered so far, but there's a lot of new athletes that I've never competed against before, and also athletes that I've looked up to and only seen, so it's kind of surreal to be competing against them. And obviously the addition of the 2 new Poomsae is something that I've been working on, so that's something that took a little bit of time to get used to and practice to get up to competition level. So the Taekwondo Alliance for Mission, or TAM Foundation, was founded by my school's headmaster, Master Shin Sonu. And its main goal is to use the global community of Taekwondo to gather the resources and travel to underprivileged communities throughout the world, whether it be in Tanzania or Guatemala, or even in local areas such as churches, to set up Taekwondo programs and assist in promoting like a more healthy lifestyle, as well as the values such as respect and courtesy that Taekwondo embodies. My first work, the first opportunity that I had to work with TAM Foundation was traveling to Tanzania. And that was a very nerve-wracking experience. First of all, just because it's such a far distance. It was like a 36-hour flight. So everyone started clapping when we finally landed. But once we got over that, I think being able to directly work with the people that we had only talked about, because previously our studio hosted fundraisers through things like Poomsae seminars or donation drives or little track and field days that people paid tickets for to attend. And so it was kind of always in the back of my mind, oh, we're working to help these people. But being able to go directly on site and meet with the people that we were helping from afar and work with the students to teach Taekwondo was a really humbling experience. And the way they welcomed us was also really nice to see. And honestly, I think the energy that all the students have, you'd think that there wouldn't be Taekwondo in somewhere as far as Tanzania or Guatemala, but the energy with which they practice and the dedication that all the students show was really humbling and really gratifying to see, and it totally gave me a new perspective on training.
What was that experience like, being on the national team and getting to go to the Pan Am Championships and represent the United States?
Surreal. Really surreal. I still remember 8th grade. I think that was when I first competed as a black belt, and I finished pretty low, but being able to work up from that point, because that was when I really first started competing as an athlete, and being able to work up from that point and train to where I got to represent the US along with all the other amazing athletes was an amazing experience. And I learned a lot, not only in terms of Taekwondo, but also in terms of endurance and perseverance and also sportsmanship and getting to know all these new athletes.
경례. 준비. 시작.
And that was an interview with Christy Park. It's always so great to get to know athletes and, you know, what motivates them and what they enjoy doing with Taekwondo. So that was really great to hear from Christy. And I saw she had a Stanford flag there in her room and all her gold medals hanging behind her. So, so far coming out here, I do remember her semifinals. She comes out very strong and clean and has really hard stops and good flexibility on her side kicks as well.
Yes, Christy's here representing Taekwondo kids, and her instructor is Master Bo Young Kim.
So Christy came into this round in 3rd place, and we'll see what the judges think of her choreo and if she can hold on to that spot.
She looked like she was really trying to highlight her upper body strength on that last line of choreo. So hopefully that paid off, and it looks like she got a pretty strong reward there. The score is 7.67. Now Kunga. I know everybody sits at the edge of their seat with Kunga. Like, how's she gonna do? You just hold our breath sometimes, right? When we watch others, because we just want them to do so well.
Absolutely, especially, you know, in the finals, and it's the last form. It really is kind of make it or break it. And at least with the video recording, if you had a really bad run, you could just do another one. So I do think that we will see all good runs of Kumgang. We're not going to see any majors of people putting their foot down because they would just do another one. So that also makes it a little bit less stressful because I know that they're going to give us a good video.
The tough thing is, how many times did they have to do choreo to get a good Kumgang, right?
That is the question.
Nice and strong here. I anticipate a pretty high score.
Right, maybe not quite as solid in her stops as like AJ has really clean pickups and stomps, no extra movement in the knees. But like you said, everything else is really good, and we will see a good score here for Christy's Kumgang.
경례. 퇴장.
7.53, not quite as high as I anticipated for Christy Park. So let's see where this puts her, their final score, 7.6. So not in the top 3 here. So let's see where she lands. Yeah, number 5, just under Angela Tortora for Christy Park. So she had come into this finals in 3rd place. Now we have Karen Rial, who came in 2nd in the semifinal. Again, another well-decorated athlete, just as her teammate Alex Lee is. So here she is, starting off with choreo.
And she does pairs with Alex Lee, who just won his division. And they would have been in Denmark for the Senior 1 pairs division.
The World Championship was scheduled for May, but due to COVID, we needed to stay home and make sure that we were safe and healthy. And now look, everybody has continued to train. That's what I think is so remarkable about Poomsae athletes, is that no matter what, we just want to train. We just want to get up in the morning and get off to a good warm up and then just hit that mat. And Karen's been doing this for years and years and years, and it's really paying off. You can tell about her passion in Poomsae by her performances.
Absolutely. And now that we're in this, senior division 18 to 30, a lot of these athletes, especially the ones just coming into the division, will be going to college.
Ding, 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 ding. 8.03. We hit it.
We have our first above 8. She beats Alex, I believe, her teammate.
Not to be picky with Alex, but yeah, she did get a slightly higher score. And now let's see how this Kumgang goes. Again, tough to get over an 8 with Kumgang. There are just a lot of little accuracy tidbits running through this Poomsae.
Right, lots of opportunities to just have slight little pre-steps or balance checks. But Karen is just a very, very solid competitor. Again, lots of international experience, also experience with these virtual online tournaments. So if we are going to get a high score here, we have just 2 more athletes to do it. And with that super high first score, even if she drops a little bit on this form, I think that she's fighting for that first place spot.
Right, and I think a lot of the athletes will be analyzing this video quite a bit to see what the judges were saying, really take a look at those scores a little bit more, maybe doing a lot of, pausing at different points of the video after this episode airs, where they can really take their time and be thoughtful so that they can come up with their own plan for their future training, maybe another online event.
Absolutely, and then we highly encourage everyone to watch them, especially with your coaches if you can, so that your coach can point things out to you that maybe we're not commenting on or that you haven't seen, so that you know what you can work on to be like these athletes who are just, wow, Coach Brand!
Holy cow, almost knocked something over here.
She just got a higher score on Kumgang than she did on her choreo, which was the highest score so far of this episode.
8.07. Oh, just catapulting her into first place. Good job, Karen Rial. 8.07. Gotta be proud of that.
And with one more athlete here to go, Haley Ra from Ictus, coached by Master Puck Yang. So we're going to have a fight here for this top spot, Coach Brand.
Haley's starting off that nice and steady technique, that pace. It's very calm for her. She has great flexibility. She's running through these front kicks, but the side kicks look fantastic as well.
And a nice clean space, which really lets the judges focus on her Poomsae.
Just can't get over those last scores. That's amazing. Kumgang. Wow.
So we did see a slight fall out there of that side kick. We'll see if that's enough for Karen to hold on to that first place spot. Again, she came into this round in second. So Haley really has to give a great score.
Right behind Haley's head, there's this circle. Right when she was in that position, it was like perfectly framing her, like a little halo, almost vertical halo there. When she came to the front, she looked like she was right dead on her mark from doing that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, how many times could somebody get that right? That was like perfect. 7.47. She's really going to have to go through Kumgang like a, I don't even know what she would have to do here to boost herself to first place with Kumgang, but I'm hoping she has a fantastic performance here, and I know everybody else is too as they're watching.
Right, looks like the judges did take off some accuracy hits there, probably coming out of that side kick in the top bar for choreo. But still, I mean, almost a 7.5 is a really good score. So Haley here is going to be a really massive competitor in this division in the coming tournaments. And again, because of the way that the new pathways are set up, showing consistency, competing in multiple tournaments, both in the US as well as abroad. You can go to G-rated events for points. There are multiple ways now to try and make that national team for 2021.
Yeah, this is rated at an 8.0, right? Just underneath what a national championship would be. So for all the athletes who got points, congratulations. And, you know, sometimes it's hard to tell how you should approach this online event. So maybe next time we'll just, you know, tweak it a little bit here, a little bit there, and then it creates just a whole new situation for her as she's in these final rounds. But nice and steady here on the finish to Kumgang. Really looking forward to her score here.
바로
And I hope you're all enjoying this at home. And I hope you've invited your grandmother
차렷.
over, for goodness sakes, your aunt, your
예.
uncle, you know.
Maybe don't invite your grandma over unless everybody's wearing a mask. Stay
Oh.
safe, take care of your
Pleasure.
elderly family members, but send them the link. Tell them to watch it at home.
Good point. 7.53. By invite her over, I meant invite her over to her own screen at her own house where she's perfectly safe. 7.5 for Haley Raw, and then that brings her to 8th place. So Karen Rial took it. Congratulations to Karen on her fine performance, finishing up in second, Yerim Jong, and then AJ Munoz in 3rd place. Congratulations to everyone. Oh, I love this division. This is over 65 mil, starting off with Jim Hart from Iowa. So Jim's been working a lot on his core strength and accuracy from step to step on each of the different Poomsae, trying to tear them apart and then reconstruct them. So he's made a lot of gains this last year or so, asking a lot of questions, trying to apply all of the answers. And here he is working his way through Chongquan.
One of my favorite forms to watch. Chongquan has so many moves that you don't get to see in any other forms. And I really love the approach that the Masters athletes take. I feel like they take a really better mental approach where they understand the thought process behind rather than just walking through the motions.
Yeah, it used to be that athletes used to only get to learn one Poomsae per dan rank. And now everybody gets to learn them pretty early, pretty young, right? And young into their experience is what I mean. So some of the athletes in the M3 or M4 division had to wait until they were, first dan, second dan, third dan to learn each of the Poomsae. So this Poomsae is pretty new to them. Some of them waited until they were 6 dans or, in that area there before they first picked up this Poomsae.
Right, and I wasn't allowed to really learn this until I started competing in freestyle, because you can use any moves from WT forms in your freestyle routine. So that's when I got to first learn it. But athletes ask your coaches, and as long as they are okay with it, I think it's great to learn.
Yeah, that's a great point. And Jim's off to the races with a 6.13 here. A really good score. He has increased his scores, seems like nearly every single event he's been in. So choreo's off to a good start. Do have to work on a little bit of that support leg balance with the front kicks as he's going through that line coming toward the judges there. I think all of the athletes in this division share a huge enthusiasm for learning. So no matter what your rank, no matter what division, it's really always so much fun just to pick up a new technique and then go home and get excited about trying to put it into your game.
And collaborating. I feel like that's a lot bigger in the master divisions. In the senior competitions, it can be pretty competitive, and your style's your style and you don't want to share how you do it. But when I've traveled with Jim and some of the other masters athletes, they are just so open and they're willing to talk through their training process and how they do stuff. And here, a nice score for Jim, a 6.26 on that choreo. So all that hard work definitely coming through here on his score.
I did better on choreo, which is great. Choreo is a difficult Poomsae for anybody. 6.2, real good. And I remember hearing from his interview during the semifinals that what he misses is that camaraderie, right? That face-to-face camaraderie with other athletes. But I noticed that he does try to communicate as many as possible, even during this time here. Always like reaching out, asking questions, and talking with his friends. And this is Bruce Gallup. He was on the U.S. team in 2016 and a bronze medalist. So this should be a very competitive run for him in Chongquan. He has a nice low center of gravity that works really well in Chongquan. So as he moves from step to step, he can keep his balance. We just need to make sure that he keeps his eye on the target there. Just that brief kind of look away as he started his side kick. the referees might pick that up and deduct for that. So he might be getting a 0.3 on that one. But other than that, looking really good.
I know I'm excited to compete with this form once I age up next year into senior 2 and I do a female team or pairs. You can learn and compete with Jite and Chungkwan. So I'm really excited. I know I've been watching these athletes compete over the episodes and picking up tips that I want to try and put into my training myself.
We haven't seen a lot of Chungkwan so far, so I'm excited to see it here and see Bruce's interpretation of that. So strong performance there on Chungkwan for Bruce Gallup. And in that Poomsae, he gets a really great score, 7.13. Good job, Bruce. Oh my, referees love that.
Yeah, really high presentation coming through on that form for that score. So let's see how he does on choreo. So good composure. We did see his hands come off of the body a little bit on the side kicks, and maybe looking down just a little bit, but really good understanding of what the moves are, and really grounded in his stances as well. So I do think that so far we're seeing a really great choreo rendition here from Bruce.
And we're not exactly sure what the judges can pick up either, right? We don't really know what kind of device they're looking at the competition on and how picky they're being. There's no way for us to know because they're not sharing that with us. Darn it. But a really good finish there to choreo. Good job. Let's take a look at your score for choreo, which is 7.06. So, wow, really good scores in this division so far. His final score is going to end up at 7.1. You should be really proud of that performance.
And there are 4 athletes in this division here. So Bruce really coming out with just a stellar performance here in the finals. And we'll see how that places him as we have 2 more athletes to go.
So
this is Mitchell Dillard here, starting off with Chungkwan. Every time I get to see it, I really enjoy watching how everybody transitions from step to step on this front line. Seen it done so many different ways. I can appreciate everybody's interpretation of it. Went for that side kick at about the hip height. So often athletes will do that in order to make sure, guarantee that they have their balance. And for them starting off with that confidence with that they pick their spot and they know exactly what they want to hit really helps as they move from actually through the whole form, makes them feel very confident and balanced rather than, hoping and then praying that that kick is going to end up where they want it to end up.
Right, and this form has that 360 axe kick in there. So one of the more difficult kicks, I would say, in any of the traditional forms. And so far, all 3 athletes have done a really good job of landing it without falling out. So I know I get nervous when I'm going into it in practice. So really great job from these athletes so far. And a big score here.
Oh my goodness, the magic continues in this division with the score of 7.3 for Mitchell Dillard. So that really paid off. So sometimes we don't have to think about, kicking, shooting for the moon. Just kick where it feels good, as we mentioned earlier, just by doing your best to make sure that you're keeping a solid frame and feeling comfortable and confident as you go throughout. Nice high front control on choreo, especially that right side, right up in front of that face. Not that face, his face, sorry.
Yeah, that's really great. Breaking the plane of the shoulder on that right leg front kick, and side kicks even are coming up here. in this top bar for choreo. Also another tall athlete, so really having to engage those stances, bend the knees a little bit more than the shorter athletes, and are doing a really great job.
By shorter, I think you mean more petite.
Sure.
Or,
I'm talking about myself, Coach Brand. I call myself short. It's just stating facts.
10.44. Wow, I'm just amazed by how well he's doing here. 7.37 for his final score. Wow, he really did a good job of picking just the right rhythm and tempo to boost himself into first place ahead of Bruce Gallup and Jim Hart.
My name is Ken Thorpe. I'm a 7th Dan black belt. I've been in Taekwondo since in the martial arts since 1964. I'm 67 years old. I stopped competing when I was 47 and started competing again when I was 67. So I switched from choreogi to Poomsae, which is kind of like retiring from ice hockey to become a figure skater. So anyway, I think that Poomsae is much more difficult, much more challenging, and it's so different. It's been quite a challenge for me. I'm really enjoying it. If I may show you something real quickly, just point the camera. Can you see that pool table and that porch? This is where I've been training because of COVID-19. They've basically shut down all the dojangs. So this is a coffee shop, and they've got a porch back here, and this is where I train, and several other people have recently joined me here. You had asked me, how did I get into screenwriting? I had a real interest in it, but I hadn't written anything. I started later in life than most screenwriters, but I started when I read the book of Revelation and said, wow, this is formatted like a feature film with action and dialogue and scene headings and everything like a feature film. And at first, I did what Hollywood said to do, make it your own personal fiction, but it's not a fiction. And so I had to toss that and start over. And I find myself going to public places like this and restaurants. I don't think you can write creatively unless you're around people and observing their motions and their reaction.
What's your experience been like participating in like the Summer of Poomsae and other online tournaments?
Well, great question. It's a lot of fun to get ready for these things. And then when you have to get in front of the camera and you do, say, Kumgang followed by Sipjin or Kumgang followed by Hansu, and you get Kumgang perfect, and then you mess up with Hansu, you've got to do them both over. So you get Kumgang perfect, and then you mess up on Hansu, and you do them all over. And by the time you're finished, you left your best videos behind, and you submit something that maybe you would have done better in person, but there's nothing left in the tank. You're spent completely. And I find it's harder actually to prepare for video.
Okay, here we have Ken Thorpe. When I watched him in the semifinals, I was super impressed with his side kicks. He has this nice, long, relaxed length and extension to his movement, which I was just like completely impressed by. So you see that kind of long movement here. He's doing it with the hand technique as well. He has really raised his game.
And we will get to see one of those side kicks right here.
Pretty good. That looked like about maybe shoulder height. It's difficult for some athletes because coming off of a front stance, so oftentimes it's easy to kick a little too soon and not get the height that you might have gotten if you just waited a hair longer to stand up a little bit more. But that front kick was really high, like close to the fans. And there's that little jump spin crescent kick motion. So now his trick is going to be to get back to his mark. So he moved off a little bit to the side of that, and we're going to see him try to end up. So he took a little extra step to get there. Sometimes we don't think anybody's noticing that.
Acceptable cheating, Coach Brand, is how to get back to your spot.
Sometimes you just do whatever you have to do to get there.
Obviously, you want to try and take a minor of doing a heel pivot or something rather than a major of missing your mark completely. But
Yeah.
I think he probably got close enough there.
Yeah, he was close enough. I think he just felt it. Like sometimes you just get these like little creepy feelings going down your back. Like I got to get back to where that was. 7.1 on the first one. And now moving on to choreo.
And I think earlier I did say there were 4 athletes in this division, but I see now that I have 2 pages. So we actually have 5 athletes. So after Ken, we will have 1 more athlete to go.
So again, I don't know if you picked that up, but he has those long side kicks there. He's really trying to extend out as far as he can. Give a lot of credit for doing that because as he's doing it, he's risking losing his balance just a little bit, but he is soldiering on to try to really extend them out.
And really high front kicks too, definitely clearing his shoulders on that right leg.
I think in this division so far, he's had the highest front kicks.
And especially with his height, it just looks really nice when you do have that full extension.
Finishing strong here on choreo. That was Ken Thorpe from Parks Martial Arts, coached by Master Park.
Good.
And on choreo, he got a score of 7.2. And here comes in his total score of 7.15, which moves him into second place just behind Mitchell Dillard and pushing Bruce Gallup into the third place spot. Just behind though, not by much there.
Right, pretty close scores there with just 1 more athlete here to go. And this is Jang-hee Pak from Ichthys, and he is coached by Master Pak Yang.
Yeah, his coach also competing in this event in the under 50 division.
Right, and that is coming up later today. So stick around, don't leave us. We will see his coach, Master Pak, in just a few minutes.
I don't think anybody can leave Miyako. This is just too much excitement. Every single division is just a thrill.
So seeing nice high side kick here from Jang-hee, and a little bit quicker tempo as well.
A little quicker. So yeah, I think maybe a little bit more volume will get him a little bit higher presentation score, but he's doing really well. I'm really captivated by his timing here, and I'm wondering if the judges are going to reward this with a very high score here.
8.0. 8.0.
Oh, that was so exciting.
You guys couldn't see Coach Brand's face, but she like threw her whole body backwards. She was so excited when Karen got that score in Kumgang.
Who doesn't get excited about something like that? When our athletes are training so hard, it's so nice to see them get that, you know, level of respect and reward in their score. 7.87.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Well, holy cow. Talk about knocking on the door of that 8 here in the over 65 male division, Master 4 division here, the great high score.
Yeah, that presentation of 4.6 is massive. So judges definitely appreciating his quicker tempo and just real ease. He just makes it look easy.
Most athletes just dream of that 4.6.
Good front kicks coming up to again about shoulder level, and here's some more side kicks.
I can't tell. Oh, there's a couple of steps where it looks like he's stepping and then finishing his hand technique. I'm hoping that's not the video and what is actually, I hope that is the video, not what is not actually what happens there on this Poomsae, because other than that, he's doing a remarkable job. We want to make sure though that we end the hand and foot at the exact same time here, not the foot and then the hand to follow. It happened a few times at the beginning of the Poomsae, but definitely not at the end. So I definitely expect another high score. Here it is, 7.8. Wow.
Yeah, really great score here from Jung-hee Park. And that will give him the highest score for this division of the men's over 65 black belt finals. And there you have your top 5. Again, all of these athletes will be getting ranking points.
And look at that gap. Okay, here we are with the over 65 female black belt division, starting off with Trinda Bell.
시작.
And the great thing about this Summer of Poomsae is that you have lots of examples to watch to make sure that you're doing the right moves and following the right pattern.
There was a time where we didn't have many resources. Now we have them right here on our screen, just watching through each of the divisions. And many of the divisions have done this Poomsae, Kumgang. A lot of opportunity for her to take a look, and all the other athletes who haven't even, didn't register or compete in this event to try for the next one. So a little bit of mistake or two on those lines coming forward toward the camera there. So she can just look and see the other athletes in her division and other divisions and find the correct turn for those Kumgang lines.
흥해.
She gets a score of 3.63. As you mentioned, there were a few of those accuracy details there.
제야. 흥해. 준비. 시작.
We have 4 athletes in this division. Does look like she missed a step there and her face was looking the wrong way on one of those moves. So we might see some accuracy hits. Oh, I think she turned the wrong way there as well. So we will see some accuracy hits on this form. But I am just really excited that we have so many athletes in this division and that they're just coming out here. She's also doing this in a mask. So I know I've tried running in a mask in training. It's not easy. So big kudos here to Trinda Bell doing this form in a mask. And once she cleans up some of those accuracy things, I think her score will go up because she's showing great flexibility here in those front kicks too.
And real strong right there on the end of that front line with that back fist coming in. Trinda Bell is from High Desert Martial Arts, and her coach is Coach Daniel Graff. So hopefully he and all the rest of the athletes at High Desert Martial Arts are very proud of Trinda here as she finishes up Sipchin.
We're definitely taking some deductions here on the accuracy for turning the wrong way and then face not facing the right direction. But I'm sure that Trinda, once she corrects those accuracies, her score will definitely go up because, like I said, showing great flexibility. So I'm excited to see where she is next year.
Yeah, that was Trinda Bell. And here's Diana Hunt out of Sacramento, California. And she's a silver medalist from 2016 in Peru. And she is starting off with Kumgang. her Kumgang is looking pretty good here. She's got that Haktari Sogi just fine. Off to a strong Kumgang. Let's see what the judges had to say about that. 6.36. So
good form. We will see what she does as her second form here now. But we'll just talk about, she's doing Chungwon, and we will talk about Chungwon for you, ladies and gentlemen.
this is a really good Chungwon though.
Right. I think that, you mentioned Diana did really well at the World Championships in Peru. So I think that she has a good future here in this division. That 360, a little bit of a step out, but otherwise, this form has been really solid. So I'm enjoying watching her. And
she got a silver medal in the 61 to 65 division in Peru. So she has moved up to this Master 4 division since that time. And these both look like really good Poomsae. I don't have the chart in front of me as to what the designated Poomsae was for that round, but based on what it said in the lower part of the screen there, kind of flashed at us that it was incorrect form. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, so we'll just zero out the scores here, and worth noting that if you zero out on accuracy, which can be done, the lowest score that you can get in presentation is a 0.5 in each of those three categories. So the lowest you can get is a 1.5 for Poomsae.
So she did end up in first place after that performance, but here comes Erica Linthorst, and she'll be followed by Tweety Wynn. So I remember watching Erica in her semifinal round looking really incredibly strong, like she had put a lot of time and effort into her core strength. And it's really showing here on Kumgang.
And like you said, she's doing a really great job. Super solid crane stances.
Erica, she's moving through, looks super confident, comfortable. She picked a nice rhythm and tempo.
And she is a former world champion, really coming through here in a really solid performance.
Show.
That was really great job, Erica. I know I've enjoyed watching the YouTube streams as the episodes air, and she's been one of the athletes commenting on the live stream. So Erica, really great to see you. I'm glad you're engaging. And a nice score here of 7.37 for Kumgang.
Yeah, she's really seemed to find her own personal, best rhythm as she's going through these forms. Now, after seeing her 3 forms, she looks really good. Her coach is one of our national coaches, Dave Turgeon, and they've been working together for quite a long time. And it's evident here that each year she's just getting better and better.
She's a really great upper body. You can tell her core must be really strong because she's not leaning forward on the front stances, which can sometimes happen if your back is tight. So I think that her overall look of her Poomsae has just improved, like you mentioned, year over year. So
yeah,
really
real strong pivoting here from one step to the other in a couple of spots here. So it makes her look really solid. In addition to being a strong athlete, she's also a wonderful ambassador for Taekwondo. She has friends worldwide that she communicates with and has been keeping them happy through these last few months by staying connected with them.
Baru.
And I think both of those forms play to her strengths. Right there, she has a fairly low center of gravity, very good core strength, and stays solid from stance to stance. So again, good score, 7.47. High scores in both the male and female Master 4 divisions here. 7.42.
Really impressive.
7.42 as her final score. So into first place, just ahead of Diana Hunt and Dorinda Bell. Our last competitor is Tweety Wint from Texas.
Stop!
And Master Nguyen is the current national team member for this division, but it was very close to the Grand Slam between Erica and Master Nguyen. So I expect nice high scores here as well. And we'll have a fight off for that first place spot.
Well, both of these two athletes have made a lot of gains in the last few years, really coming to a good comfort level with their strengths and how to highlight them for the judges who are scoring them. So really know more about their personal timing, about the rhythm and tempo that they need to use. And you can see that here with Tweety Wint as she goes through Kumgang.
And she's also a referee. I know I saw her at one of the Grand Slams judging Poomsae, so that also gives you a great understanding of what you should be doing in your Poomsae if you know how to judge it. And with that, I will just throw out there that USA Taekwondo has released a schedule of referee seminars through the summer and fall. So if you are maybe not so sure on what should be going on with your Poomsae, come to one of those referee seminars and you can learn a lot about how to do them.
So she received 7.07, so she's really going to have to raise it up a notch here in her second Poomsae.
Right, so Erica had a nice big score there, so we'll have to make up a lot of ground here if she wants to pull this first place spot back.
I think it's entirely possible because she's such a strong athlete. And as you mentioned, she's a longtime referee in Poomsae. She helped out, I believe, at the last qualifier, the one that we had at the Athlete Center, and she seems to be, each time she goes out there, feeling a little bit more comfortable. Maybe that helps to be a referee like she has been and really understand from both sides what is necessary here.
And one fun fact about Tweety Nguyen is that she always has really great nails. We talked over President's Cup about her manicure and pedicure, and it was matching. One was red and green on the different hands. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. I always have very fancy manicures, and I'm sad when I have to take it off the tournament. So one fun fact for you about Master Nguyen.
Good, finishes solidly there. And her score for Sipchin comes in at 7.03. Another good score, but not quite enough here combined with her first score. So she finishes up with 7.05 and then moves into second place. So it's going to finish up with Erica Linthorst. Congratulations to Erica, Tweedy, and Diana Hunt, first, second, and third place, and Drinda Bell finishing up with fourth place honors there.
시작.
Okay, and we're moving now to the under 50 male black belt finals. We do have a full division here, so 8 athletes. And our first competitor is Chen Dong Wang from Eagle Taekwondo. So lots of Kumgang on this episode. If you are practicing and learning Kumgang, watch this one a lot of times because you're seeing a lot of different approaches to it.
Looks like he has just enough mat in order to get that side done, that sideline done. And he may have been able to play some piano on his way through that first part of the Poomsae. This side, he has a mirror on the wall. I'm not sure if he's lined up with it, but looks like he's not noticing at all. There are a few accuracy issues here that the judges might pick up, but in general, it's nice and solid. I like that turn a lot. Looked really strong. He's going to end up with some nice power there on this last punch.
Show.
He gets a 5.87 for Kumgang.
준비.
Again, this is Chen Dong-won from Eagle Taekwondo,
시작.
coached by Grandmaster Jung Jin. Paul Jung, we haven't seen that yet in this episode, so that's kind of fun.
Right here, and some of his teammates at Equal Taekwondo are Alex Lee and Karen Rial, who just won their division. So he's in great company with his teammates for training.
And I'm sure they're rooting for him at home as they're watching this episode.
Good flexibility on the front kicks. Again, this bar of Paul Chung is so hard to pick up that front kick from that tiger stance. Those might be a little bit long. Again, on those tiger stances, you want your heel and toe to be just in line, no space like you would have in a walking stance. So we will see some accuracy hits here on this form, but good flexibility and strength. So I think we will see good things from him in the future as well.
Yes, he came in 8th in the semifinal round. So we're starting with that 8th place and working our way up to first place. So we have 8 competitors here in the under 50 male division and also the under 50 female division. So he's starting off with a 6.0 in his first form, Kumgang. Oh, sorry. That was his final score for both forms, 6.0. And here we are with Armand Morin. Little adjustment step on that transition from that first line to the second. Might get dinged just a bit for that.
Yep, and we're seeing some pre-steps before the stomps and spins as well. And again, you want all of these crane stances, those moves to be 8 counts. So here you'd want to count to 8, and I think he's going a little bit faster than that, so we might take some hits there as well.
Yeah, we've all done that sometimes, you know, where we think it's 8, but it's more like 3.
You counted to 8 in your head, but it was not 8 full seconds.
Yeah, so we can all empathize with Armand as he's going through this. He's from World Champion Taekwondo in Wake Forest. His coach is Master Du Kyung Lee. So 5.13 for Kumgang, as you mentioned, his accuracy scores were dinged just a little bit by those tiny little errors, which I'm sure he can correct. He just has to tend those details. And Paul Jung here. We haven't seen a lot of Paul Jung. This is a good episode for us to be able to see 8 competitors, 8 athletes, maybe tried slightly different strategies with this, depending on their body type and what they think they want to highlight as they go through it.
Yeah, there's a lot of big motions too, those push blocks, as well as in Tego Childong and number 7. So that contrast in volume that you want on your arms, and then the nice high snappy front kick. So lots of things to work on in Paljong, even though it's not one of the black belt forms, you still compete with it up through the ranks.
Yeah, he definitely seems to have a good understanding of the sequence of the Poomsae, what he needs to do. So it's these details that he can really impact the score with. So we got a higher score on this one, 5.8. And I think he can easily push into the 6s with just some attention to detail. So 5.47 for Armand Morin's final score. And that moves him into second place just behind Chen Dan Wang.
Our next athlete here is Todd Brown, and he is from Oklahoma Taekwondo, and he is his own coach. So good approach, and then it's always hard sometimes if you don't have somebody to bounce ideas off of. So I think that watching videos can be that feedback that maybe you don't get if you are your own coach or if you don't have anybody to train with. You can watch videos, watch back some of these episodes to see what other athletes are doing.
Todd Brown is from Oklahoma Taekwondo, and of course that's his own club, as Miyako mentioned. He selected a higher video position for his Poomsae. So it gives us a slightly different vantage point here, kind of looking from above and then straight down toward him.
I think if I was being strategic and had a form with side kicks, I would put the phone or the camera closer to the ground so it'd make my kicks look high.
So if you had been in this event, that's what you would have done, Miyako?
Put it on the floor, straight up. I'm gonna have vertical side kicks.
They're amazing. Again, this is Todd Brown working his way through Kumgang. Might have a few accuracy dings for some of the stances and some of the starts and stops. So that's always fun to kind of work through the Poomsae just step by step and really agonize, as we all do, Todd, to get these details correct. So you are not alone. We're all there with you. 5.3 for Todd Brown's first Poomsae.
Right, Kumgang, everybody can always work on. I know that my team and my teammates, we do a lot of scrubbing of Kumgang, just always working through how do you do the spins, how do you do those weight shifts. But here on Paljong, looking much more comfortable, nice high front kicks there on that first opening bar.
Yeah, it sure was. So you refer to it as scrubbing. Interesting. I refer to it as sculpting. Cleaner and cleaner, smoother and smoother.
It's scrubbing. I just got to do more cleaning than you do. I got to scrub real hard to get it to look clean.
That sounds like such hard work. Yeah, this Poomsae, I think he's going to get a higher score on this one. He seems way more comfortable here.
Definitely. I think if he had this, the camera recording at eye level for where a referee would see if they were sitting in a chair, his front kicks would look even higher. And I mean, they're so high to start with, even from this angle. I think if he competes again, he'll do really well in forms with front kicks.
Yeah, so maybe take that note, Todd, that Miyako is sending you right there. Maybe just at your eye level for that camera, if you can just put it on, a table, or table on a box, or it doesn't have to be fancy. We're not going to see it, so just put something there that's more at eye level. That will probably raise your score a little bit. So you got 6.0 on that second one, higher than the first, right? So good job to Todd Brown, ending up with a 5.65 as his final score, which moves him into second place, just behind Chen Dan Wang and above Armand Morin.
And 5 more athletes here to go. And next up we have Angelito Ong. And we've seen numerous athletes from this school. And it's Ong's Taekwondo. So I believe that it is his school and he is the coach again. So it's always nice to have your coach compete, because that means that you know that they're really working through the forms with you, so that they have to figure out what works, what doesn't, what do the judges like, and they're doing that hard work with you. So it's always nice to have that whole team, family, coach, whatever it is, competing with you.
Yeah, and then your coach is current with any, maybe the latest changes that might have happened, or, you know, really knowledgeable about any rule modifications that might have been made from year to year. Not that non-competing coaches wouldn't, but as when they're actually doing it themselves, it is really nice because it can maybe give you those little nuances of the movement that they might not have otherwise.
Absolutely. They're working through it themselves so they can pass those tips on to you.
That looked good. I think he's going to get a pretty good score for this one.
Definitely. And he came into this round in 5th place, but that was a really solid kumgang. So I would not be surprised if he goes up a little bit.
Look at that, 6.87. Really good score for Angelito Ong in his first Poomsae. I hope you can see that core strength coming through on your screen, everyone, because he really started off very powerfully on that first line of Paul jump.
And really nice deep stances, and watch his hips here. They're turning with his shoulders so that those hips are turning in the 8 count as well as the shoulders. Coming up a little bit there on his stacked leg, so the base leg on that front kick, the heel was coming up to get some more height on the front kick. So we'll see if the judges noticed or took off any points, but the front kicks went up really high, so nice presentation on the height.
Yeah, very impressive. I like that core strength going through each step of the Poomsae. It really came across on screen very nice, 6.97. So knocking on the door of that 7 there, and it's just right around the corner. So 6.92 for his final score, and this will move him into first place with such a nice gap. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, with 4 more athletes to go, he just did 2 really great forms, and we'll see if he can move up, like I said, in those rankings and hold on to that spot.
Here's Victor Chung, Southern California, Elite Taekwondo. He has quite a few athletes, I think, also competing in this event as well.
I believe Victor was on the Poomsae team in 2019. We went to the President's Cup, and he was on the male senior 2 team. I enjoy the team and pairs divisions a lot, so I know we can't do that right now with the virtual tournaments. My teammates live in Boston and I live in Maryland, so we could splice it together with some coach's eye maybe, but it's not the same as getting to train with my teammates. So it is definitely hard, but having the opportunity to at least compete in individual, I think is really great. And that USA Taekwondo has all these divisions, including freestyle, which we haven't seen from other tournaments yet. Although I think there are some tournaments coming up in the future that also have a freestyle division.
Well, maybe you and Victor Chung and others will be able to go back to teams and pairs, just maybe on a very, very big mat. There's a lot of social distancing out there. Maybe you guys will be 10 feet apart. Might be hard to cue off of each other, but it could open up a whole different avenue for teams and pairs. 7.37 for Victor Chung. So yeah, we have turned the corner into our the 07 now. He should be very, very happy with that score. Of course, he's hoping to be able to continue another strong score and create a big gap for himself before the other athletes come out towards the end of this division. We still have 3 more after Victor Chung. So he's.
I think his power is coming through really nicely. Nice grounded stances here so far. And good flexibility on the front kicks. We'll see in this bar, one of the harder ones, still clearing the shoulders easily on those front kicks.
I think his balance has really increased over the past few years, and in a form like this, it can really help him shine. Victor Chung there looking strong in Taegukpoljang, and his score is just about to come up, and here it is, 7.53. So he's really created quite a gap between himself and second place holder here. So his final score is 7.45. So he's got a nice healthy lead here at first place. So
Yeah, that's a really great score.
yeah, over 0.5 for Victor Chung in the lead.
And here, 3 more athletes to go, and we just saw Angelito Ong just a few minutes ago, and now one of his students. This is Michael John Bugarin. Bugarin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I apologize.
I'm guessing Bugarin. Just boy, we have seen quite a lot of Kumgang in this episode. This right here is just like really great homework for everybody at home who's thinking about competing Kumgang. So much to learn here from all the athletes in the variety of divisions that we've had today doing this Poomsae.
Yeah, he's taking an aggressive speed on those spins, and we are seeing some rise and fall in his head as he does that spin. But it is very fast, and he is stopping it cleanly. So different approach. We've seen lots of different approaches to the spin in just this division alone. I think it's definitely worth playing around and seeing what works best for you. Are you a stepper? Are you going to spin across? How fast or smooth do you want to do it? But this is a good Kumgang here from Michael John.
So yeah, it's a gamble though, right? Because he was going for those really quick spins. Let's see what they had to say about that. So the score's coming in there at 7.03.
Yep, a bit of a spread on the technical, on the accuracy score there. So maybe two of the judges didn't quite like what the other one was seeing. But I think here on Poljang, we'll see a different approach to the tempo, a little bit slower, a little step off there, so we're not quite straight on a line. Your toes should be on a parallel line.
Yeah, and unfortunately he has that red line right in front of him, so it made it a little bit more clear for the judges to see. You see a bit of that rise and fall that you mentioned before, so he's really trying to throw a lot of power into it. So he's taking a gamble here at the same time that rise and fall is not going to impact the score. So I do like his strength. He's really attacking each of the steps, and his spins are nice and aggressive. I like that in his movement. I think the end of that Poomsae was the strongest part of either of the two.
Yeah. You always want to have a strong ending so that as the judges go into the performance category, the presentation, they remember that best part of your form here. So a little bit lower on the accuracy side, but a total of 6.8 on the second form. So that pulls the score down to 6.92 for his total score, which puts him, so there's a tie here with his coach. And he just edges out his coach by a few hundredths of a point there for second and third place. And this is
go ahead, Miyako.
Our second to last competitor in this division. This is Krishna Sitaram, and he's from High Kicks, which I believe is in Virginia. I remember his semifinal round because of that pole there in the ping pong table, and he did shift in around it, and it was great.
What do do here? Oh my goodness.
So I don't know. He's going to run out of space. Oh, man. He must have done this a bunch of times, though. I know he did Pyeongwon maybe and was just an inch away from the wall, so I know he has really good awareness of the space that he has available, and he won't run into anything.
Yeah, maybe it just appears more linear, more tubular than it actually is. Well, holy cow, is he going to run into this wall, or is he going to do that same thing that he did on the other side?
It's going to be real close.
He has this down as millimeters. No, he didn't. I was like, how does he do that? Oh, that's great.
trick of the eye because all of his stances seem to be accurate in length, but I would have thought that you would need more than 3 squares wide to do it. But somehow he's doing it, and it's looking really clean as well. He came into this round in 2nd place and putting up a really good performance here.
Oh, good for him. So impressed with him. So Krishna Sitaram with a 7.40. Nice high score for Kungang.
Yeah, like we said, Kumgang, one of the harder forms, so really solid score there on that first one. And I think with Paul Jung, you can always show a little bit more style and pizzazz. So coming here, quick opening, nice high jump on the front kicks.
Yeah, you're right. He did start off with a pop and a bang going from here to there. Looking really good. Nice picture he's creating there. Like if you're going to take a picture of the screen, like do it right when this punch goes out because he looks really solid here. Look at that. Boom. And off to a quick turn. There's a little bit of a nod as he kicks. So maybe just still that head a little bit more. It's hard to do, I know, because you're trying to drive up from the floor. There's just so many things going on at the same time. Not only in your body, but in your mind.
So many body parts try and give when you're trying to focus on getting that height. Is it your heel coming up off the ground? Is it your head going forward or your elbows coming out? But overall, really good. Second form here getting a 7.43 for Krishna. And his total score will be a 7.42. Oh, so just behind Victor Chung there by 3/100ths of a point into 2nd place with just one more athlete to go here.
Back here in one of the last episodes of the Summer of Poomsae, and I'm here with Pak Sung Young, and he is a multiple-time national team member and international medalist all over the globe for Team USA. So, sir, thank you for spending a few minutes with me here today on the Summer of Poomsae.
Oh, yes, sir. My pleasure.
Yeah, I love having these elite athletes on. He's got the beautiful Team USA background. It's textbook. I love it. I love it.
To represent, right?
I know. It's perfect.
This is how I do online classes too.
it's absolutely perfect. So let's talk a little bit about the differences between a world championships or a national championships. You've gone out there, you've won gold medals at all of those. So you've been under the bright lights, the big pressure, and now we say we're going to do this virtual competition. You have to compete in your dojang and submit your poomsae for the judges. What's the differences? How do you do it? How did you do it?
Well, actually, I like the idea. I mean, I like to say thank you to everyone who's putting this tournament because we're not focused into the COVID-19. We're more focused into our training. So
right.
I'd like to say, many thanks to everyone who prepared this tournament. But the in-person tournament and versus the online tournament, I love it, sir. I love it. And I know why, because at in-person tournament, we only have one shot.
Right.
So you practice a lot in ahead of time before you get into the ring. And you mistake, and you come out as what you perform. But online, tournaments, you record. So you could record as many times as you can until you feel that this is the right one.
Right.
I think it's also a lot of challenge and pressure we're doing over and over until I kind of feel confidence to submit that video.
Right.
So it still gives us a good training and still nervous. It's not like you're not nervous out there in front of the camera. You're still nervous. I'm nervous just getting an interview.
Well, I mean, look, at the end of the day, this is great advice from a great champion. I mean, you found a way to say, you know what, I love this because I'm going to go out there and give it even more of my time, more of my effort. And if I don't get it exactly right, I'm going to do it again until I get it right. But that's what champions do.
Yes,
and
sir.
We'd expect nothing less from you, sir. So again, a great interview from a great champion with a great background behind him. It's just, it's perfect way to end some of these episodes. So I just want to say, sir, good luck to you at the up and coming Summer of Poomsae presented by USA Taekwondo. And I hope to see you down the road winning more gold medals for Team USA.
Thank you, sir. I will try my best all the time.
You always do. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, and last up for this division, we have Master Pak Sun Yang. He is from Iktus Taekwondo, which is his club, and he has athletes from all over the country as part of his team. And he is, you know, one of the strongest athletes in this division, not only in our country, but in the region and competitive internationally here. So expecting a big score here from Master Pak on both forms.
He's on the World Championship team 2016 and 2018. So he has quite a bit of experience on the international stage.
As well as the Pan American Championships and last year the World Cup in Wuxi, China. Nice big banner in the back with his face on it. It's always clear whose studio you're in with Master Pak. Really solid. He has to pull out some good forms here so that he can get that gold medal to match his gold hair.
That's for sure. He is oftentimes on the competition floor with a set of gold warm-ups, top and bottom.
Right.
So, very smooth, very stylish, very flashy out there on the competition floor. Also does pairs with a competitor we'll be seeing soon, Tua Win, in the under 50 female division.
And they did win that division to go to Denmark at the World Championships this year, but we will see Tua a little bit later, and she won individual pairs and team and had to drop a division. So it ended up being pairs, but here, one of the biggest scores we've seen in this division, 7.77. Really big accuracy and presentation there. Really strong score. Again, on Kumbang, never easy to do.
This is a really good form for Polk because he is all about his core strength here. I know he's worked on a six-pack for many years, and you can really see that strength coming through here.
That's awesome. Good flexibility, making those front kicks look easy.
Yeah, this is a harder set here, just a little bit lower, but completely balanced. Those coming out of the boom so are so much more difficult. Yeah, makes these look nice and smooth on the back line there, and finishing that good core strength here on these turns.
And a nice long front stance to finish it out.
What I like about Polk is he makes every single technique important. Sometimes athletes, they might just throw a punch, think like, oh, it's just a punch, but he makes every single step important. Again, another high score, 7.7 for Pak Sun Young's second Poomsae there, Paul Zhang. And that leads us to his final score, 7.73. So I think he's just gonna knock Victor Chung out of that first place spot. So finishing with Pak Sun Young in first, Victor Chung in second, and Krishna Sitaram in third place.
And moving into the women's now under 50 division. And we are starting with Yenju Cho from World Champion Taekwondo Academy. And her coach is Kunmu Ryu.
So Yenju's been in 8th place in the semifinal round. So she's going to be going first here. We're going to work our way up to the athlete that came in first. And this is by no means going to be a carbon copy of the semifinal round. We've seen a few times here where everything just kind of twisted and went upside down and sideways here in the final round, which makes it very exciting for us here in episode 8 of our Summer of Poomsae coverage.
Right, I don't think we've had any division really that was exactly the same order from semis into finals. When you have that full division, there's always styles that the judges could like or some mistakes coming through. So always watching all the way through to see who's going to take those top spots in the finals.
Nice consistent front kicks on that line there, going right into the judges' front view. Really important to get those Sipchin front kicks right where you want them.
셔, 첫, 경례.
And then here come Yenju Chu's score, 6.97.
So a little bit lower on accuracy maybe for some of the athletes, but again, this is our first athlete for the division, setting a pretty high bar. And our second form looks like here it's going to be Kyungwon. So one of the shorter forms that we do, but very difficult to maintain good stability and control out of those side kicks into the back stances.
Yeah, again, this one is like moving on a balance beam, you know, just one straight line going side to side. She's making it look pretty easy, but it's not. It's quite a challenging Poomsae to have to perform, especially in the final round.
Absolutely, and I know I got to talk to Carissa at the end of the last episode, and she said she recorded over a couple of days. So given that you do have a week about from once the Poomsae are released to when you have to submit them, I do think it makes sense to just take a couple days to record rather than trying to pound them all out in one session over a couple of hours.
So that's a 6.83 for Yeonjun Cho on her second Poomsae there of Pyongwon for a final score of 6.9. So were you referring to Carissa Fu in the 18 to 30 division?
So Carissa Fu just aged up into the 31 to 40 division, and right. You're right. Sorry, Carissa Fu, because there is a Carissa Westman in the under 30 division.
Right. So we have quite a bit of time to submit the videos. So some athletes might take several days to do it. We have the cadet and junior divisions coming up soon on Summer of Poomsae. So this is by no means anything but just the beginning of our coverage here. And the cadet and junior probably have learned a lot by watching some of these initial episodes, seeing what their best vantage point is. And they have just about a week to turn in those videos after the registration ends. So they were able to see a few of those first episodes before having to complete and submit their videos. So lots more action here in Summer of Poomsae.
Right, we are going all summer long up to Labor Day, so make sure that you keep checking in and watch our future episodes. And here, our second athlete of the division, we have Jennifer Mitchell. And we see that she put her mats outside in the backyard, maybe in her driveway. We saw a few transitions, maybe not quite stepping from the back stance to front stance in the first bar, but otherwise really solid, nice power on that front kick bar. And I have seen her over the years, and she's gotten a lot better. I know that she is doing schooling at the same time. So a good score here of 6.03, maybe a little bit lower on the technical score than some of the other athletes, but pretty solid Shipjin. And now Kyungwon, and she doesn't even need that last square on her mats because this form is just going to go side to side.
I'm interested in seeing this Pyongwon and everybody's Pyongwon because the approach is always so different from athlete to athlete. She's using her nice height on that front kick to start her off.
Pins dropping below the belt a little bit on the mountain block.
That was a really great right side kick. She didn't feel as comfortable after the turn to throw the second right side kick to the same height, but that first one, that was pretty gorgeous. A little high on that last strike there. You want to bring that down so the accuracy will be right where you need it to be. So good job to Jennifer Mitchell. Here comes her score for the second Poomsae Pyongwon. And that's a 6.73. So her total score for these two Poomsae is 6.38. And that puts her in second place, just behind Yeonju Cho. So in addition to cadet and junior episodes coming up, we also have some other surprises, other fun coming up in the future here with Summer of Poomsae. So we hope that you've been enjoying all the coverage so far and that you're looking forward to the cadet and junior after this episode, as well as some surprises that are
Coach
coming.
Brand, you're not going to tell us what the surprises are?
Well, maybe I can, just a little bit, but don't tell anybody I'm telling you, okay? So we're going to have some interviews of our 2020 U.S. team, the team that was set to go to the World Championships in Denmark in May. So we're going to do some special episodes with them. Don't tell anyone, okay?
I'm going to tell everyone, Coach Brand.
Oh. I'm not sure if I'm leaking that information, but if it's just between you and me, oh, wait, is the mic on to everybody right now?
You're live.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, that's very exciting. I can't wait to get to meet some of our athletes from the team this year and get to hear a little bit about their experience. I'm sure we'll get to learn a lot from that high-level athletes. And here we have Julie Erickson from World Taekwondo Academy, coached by Patrick Hoth. And I do think I remember her from the semifinals. She was maybe a little bit more zoomed in and we cut off some of her feet on the move. So this time fully in the screen, no deductions, and coming in with a 6.8 on her first form.
Good job on that first one for Julie Erickson. So she's out in Minnesota at World Taekwondo Academy with her coach, Master Ho. I like this start.
Another form where weight shifting and stacking on the back stances is really important so that you don't fall out and you show the correct positioning on these stances. There's not very many of them, so making sure that what you do have is really correct.
Yeah, I like her strategy of kicking within her comfort zone there on the side kicks. So she didn't lose balance there as she went from step to step. So she feels comfortable right between the hip and the chest. So good job to her for knowing what will work best for her scores.
Right, and pushing the height on the last side kick. I know I do that too. Once I'm at the end and I have just one more left, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go as high as I can on the last one. And
wow,
her presentation score really coming up there for a total of 7.03.
Good job, 6.92 for Julie Erickson's final score here. Moving her into first place. Good job, Julie. I think that Pyongyang, that is fantastic to be able to push your score higher in that second Poomsae, especially when it's Pyongyang. So up next here, we have Shannon Hoda from Tiger Kim's World Class Taekwondo, which is coached by Master Yoon.
Good transition there from the back stance to front stance.
She has a lot of potential. A few details to help her accuracy score would be great, but she is off to a good start.
Right, and she came into this round in 5th place and showing why here with a very solid shipjin so far. Doing a good job of keeping both of those hands to the side. It's one of the only forms where you bring both hands to one hip on the front kicks. Some athletes will, without knowing, they'll pull both hands, one to each hip, or keep them on the chest like you would in normal front kicks. But really good performance here, especially on the last couple of bars by Shannon.
Yeah, she came in 5th in the semifinal rounds, doing a really good job here with the score of 6.93 on the first form, and then heading into Pyongyang.
So she will need to do a little bit better here to catch up to Julie, who went just before her. Good, so kicks are coming up, front kick above the shoulder, and side kick hitting just around the shoulder, so nice flexibility, good control. Yeah, so we're not seeing quite a lock on the side kick on the right leg, but it is higher than the left leg. So we'll see how the judges feel about this performance, but overall really solid. I didn't see any majors, barely any minors as well. So just continuing to smooth that out so it doesn't look as choppy, especially on the side kick retractions. And I think we'll see a good score here.
Yeah, so minor deductions here, but in general, she picked a faster speed for that Poomsae and then ends up with 6.97. So not a bad risk there at all for Shannon Hodak. Her final score is 6.95, and then that puts her just above Julie Erickson there in first place.
Yep, so all three of the top three there within 1/10 of each other.
So here we have Susan Bird from Family Taekwondo and coached by Master Chow Trong, a former US team member back in the day. I think around 2009, right in that area there.
I really like her hands on Shipjin so far. She's showing good turn with her shoulders and control. I do think she could bend her knees a little bit more, go a little bit lower in those stances, and maybe quicker double punches, but otherwise, really nice Shipjin so far. I do like the turn on the shoulders here and the hips on these boulder punches.
Yeah, I agree with the stance height. I think she just needs to explore it and realize that she can go lower here. Sometimes we just, don't really think about that. We're thinking about the hand technique, but I think she can definitely go a little bit lower, and then in that way also feel a little bit more balanced.
And just staying within the limits of the mats.
Yeah, just a little bit lower will get her some higher presentation scores, I'm sure. But no major issues there with that Poomsae. She's going to get a pretty darn high score there, 6.93.
Right, and that is very close there to the top two positions. So we'll see if she can open up just a little bit more of a gap to give her a little bit of a lead there into first place. Again, she came into this round in fourth place, so we're into the second half of the division.
Yeah, it's definitely a bunch of little things here that are going to factor into that finish for first, second, and third place here. She looks strong, definitely, going through the Pyongwon. Poomsae doesn't seem to be hesitating at all. Nice high front kicks and side kicks. Kapow on that.
The quality of her kicks might be the best we've seen so far in this division. Both front kicks and side kicks nice and high, and she doesn't seem to be struggling with them. That was a high side kick. That was really great.
Really amazing. Like, I'm not expecting it to go out that fast, and there it goes, boom, right there at head height. So excellent job to Susan Bird. Both of those Poomsae, wow, look at that, 7.23. So final score comes in at 7.08. Nice high score, which puts her into first place, just above Shannon Hodak and Julie Erickson.
We're back. It's the Summer of Poomsae. You guys have been watching all kinds of episodes to this point, seeing all kinds of interviews, but we have a special guest here on the Summer of Poomsae with Chopping Up. It's Jason and Miss Twa Nguyen. Twa, thanks for spending a few minutes with me today.
No problem.
Let's jump into it. And first, I want to ask you about the Summer of Poomsae virtual event. It's online. You're competing in your dojo. You're at your house. You've won international medals everywhere. What do you like that is similar to those type of competitions, and what's been more difficult about a virtual event?
Okay, thank you for having me on here.
Of course.
I really appreciate that. I've listened to other people's interviews, and it is interesting. I think the difference between online versus personal is the lack of knowing when you're going. So as far as like preparation, you really don't know when you're going to go. You can anticipate as much as you can, but it is a rough road to be live. And when you're doing video, there's none of that, but there's another strange thing. You record, and you may record too much, or you know, like everyone has this idea that's going to be a one shot and you're going to be all right. But then there's the other thing is if you keep recording, it sort of degrades your performance as it goes down. So there's a different type of fatigue that occurs in videoing that you wouldn't get live, because live you have like the energy, you know, like the emotion to carry you through. With video, it's like doing homework. You're like, oh my gosh, I gotta do this again, and it can be trying in a different way. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting. I never thought about the recording fatigue, but I've heard that now a couple of times, and it makes sense. I mean, you get up for that event, you do your competition, and you're ready for your score, and whatever the score is, that's it, right? Now you're like, oh, I got to do it again. I don't like what I saw there. I do it again. You can look up and you can fatigue yourself because you're almost too picky, if you will, especially international champion like yourself. So no question about it. So let's pivot a little bit to, we have a point system now. We have a national Poomsae ranking system. So after this event, after a few more events, you can look up and you can say, I'm ranked X. Let's say you're ranked number 1 or number 2. So what does that do for you? I mean, you might be able to pick and choose events. You might be able to say, I have to compete more. I can probably sit down. I have to see where I am. I mean, just to know where you are, how does that feel?
I think it's more challenging for people who are moving up in the ranks, because every single point will count for them. Right. For people, and I'm not saying that I'm obviously going to, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that people who have been doing this for a little bit longer, I feel like it won't affect them as much, because if you are sort of winning to begin with, you're just going to continue doing that. The problem only occurs when you're making your way up. So I do believe that it's going to be good for the people who are maybe less experienced or try to get into it, that they're going to have a chance to see where they are placed with everyone else. So I think it's good for them.
Yeah, no question. The consistency is going to matter. And if you continue to be consistent, you're going to continue to have results. The points are going to accumulate. And you're right. You're going to be able to be in a better position than somebody who's just coming in, a new person, maybe really good, but they're going to have to accumulate those points. So you're right. Consistency is going to matter at that point. I couldn't agree more. Well, I just want to say, Twa, thank you so much for spending time. This is Twa Win, a multiple-time national I probably don't even know how many times. There's so many. National team member for Team USA. But also, I want to tell you, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us today on the Summer of Poomsae. Good luck on all of these episodes. I look forward to seeing how you do at the competition, because you always do well.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, anytime. It's great having you. Bye now.
Bye.
Here we are with the top 3 in the female division, up just under 50 years old. Here is Twa Win. I believe this is the last year for her in this division.
That's right. So she will be aging up next year into the next division. But so far, she has still been dominant in this division, even though she has just 1 year left in it.
Yeah, multi-year world champion athlete here, looking super strong. 2016 world champion in her division. Just moving through this really easily, making Sipjin just obey her from step to step.
And Twa has really great flexibility. Her front kicks are going to be high. I'm excited to see her Pyongwon as well after this.
Yep, just as predicted. Nice and high front kicks.
She could compete in the senior 1 division and do well. She's just such a great athlete. Overall, right? Different style than some others, maybe a little bit less of a flow and smooth approach to the style, but just so strong, accurate, super solid here. The biggest score we've seen in this division, a 7.6. Really high presentation there at 4.43. So
and great hair as well.
And the hair. I saw her teammate Kathy Doe on the last episode, and Man, I was jealous of the hairstyle she had. I always like watching what they have for competition.
Kathy Do is a murderer, just murders every form as she goes through the competition. Here's Twa Win with Pyong Won. She mentioned Kathy Do. Kathy Do and Twa Win and Claire Kim are on the over 30 female team. And we're scheduled to go to the World Championship in Denmark in May. Look at these nice high kicks.
So she had just a little bit of a stumble there, but I don't even think it's going to matter because everything else has been flawless. Those side kicks are so high and easy. Like we said, one little stumble there, and it is not going to be enough to knock her out of first place for now. But Twa here is coming into this finals round in third place. So a 7.77 on the second form, which will give her a total score of 7.68. And there are still 2 more athletes to go here. So let's see if Sheena Kim or Sung Jin Lee can knock Twa off of that first place spot.
That's going to be tough to do. Twa's a 7.68 and a handy lead. But here is Sheena Kim saying, I think let's give this a try. I think I can do this. She's from Flying V Taekwondo. She has a very unique competition space there.
Yeah, great background, really lets us focus. And she's also very tall, so if she can stay grounded, her extensions look really nice. I remember her from the semifinals.
Well, if she can hit that overhang with her side kicks, I'm going to give it to her.
A little bit of a slower approach here on the speed, being a little bit careful, but very clean. Punch through the curtain.
Yeah, those horse dances look really good and smooth. She's picking a rhythm and tempo that's going to really impact the scoring, I think. So for the presentation here, her accuracy looks really good. So for that presentation, the judges are going to be looking at her power and speed, how she coordinates her rhythm and tempo, you know, what is soft, what is hard going through, and then the expression of her energy.
She also has a tattoo there on her left ankle, and I can't quite tell what it is, but I know I've seen it at other tournaments. So next time I see you, Sheena, you'll have to let me know what your tattoo is. Nice, good front kick bar, nice high kicks, again, using that height and flexibility to her advantage. Low stances here on this last bar.
Oh, really nice.
Okay, well, let's see what the judges think of Sheena Kim and if she can hold on to that second place spot and take over Twa.
7.47. I think I did see that tattoo pretty close up on my screen. It looks like it says Summer of Poomsae. Awesome. Pretty sure. I'm holding my breath here for Sheena Kim as she goes through Pyongwon here.
And she does not have a lot of width in this space, so she's going to have to just kick straight up on those side kicks to not run into the curtains.
Yeah, I think she's going to kick that overhang here. Boom. Nice extension there. Whoa, good job.
And plenty of space.
Yeah, she looks like she trains here all the time. Super comfortable, super relaxed. She likes that tempo there, just a bit slower to make sure that she can finish everything.
Really nice Pyongwon from Sheena Kim. I do think that she will get a good score, probably a mid-7 again, but probably not enough to take over Twa's first place spot.
Right. 7.53 for Sheena Kim in the second Poomsae there, Pyongwon, for a total score of 7.5. So out of reach, that first place spot, but does capture that second place spot, which is what she was in. She was in the second place spot coming in from semifinals. So we have our final competitor here, Sungjin Lee from Itis Taekwondo, coached by Coach Pok Sung Young, that we saw earlier in the episode as he took the under 50 male division.
She's really grounded on this first bar here. We're seeing that her stances are not moving, no movement in the knees on those slow counts, and not too much of a rise and fall.
Nice pace here, super smooth. Like this posture here a lot. It's very strong. Giving herself plenty of time. See where these kicks go. Nice upper body position on those kicks. No extra motion for sure. Nice finish. What do you think, Miyako?
I don't know. I think it's going to be close. I think between Twa and Sheena and Sungjin here, they're going to be all up there. Yep. So 7.6. I think that puts her in about second place now between the 7.5-ish and 7.7-ish of Sheena and Twa. So we'll see here what happens with Pyongwon, but really good opening form there.
Yeah, I think you're rightish. Just one Poomsae to go in this episode. Stay tuned. Let's see how this drama is going to finish. Nice recovery from that side kick. Good height and nice finish.
Yeah, she's showing really, really good control. Maybe not quite the ease and height of Twa's, but it's really close. And I think that this is a good form for her. Pyongwon is not easy. There's not many moves, and she pulled out a very solid form. So I do think that she'll be right in there about the second. Oh, so we're going to be close here. 7.8. That is the highest score for Pyongwon, I believe, that we've seen today. So it's going to put her 7.70.
My eyeballs are hanging out here. Let's see what happens. Oh my word. Sungjin Lee takes it with 7.0. Twa win just behind 7.68. Thanks for joining me, Miyako. Wasn't that a fantastic episode?
It was so great. We got to see the finals of so many of these divisions. Really great competition in the 18 to 30 male and female division. We saw Alex Lee and Karen Rial pulling out those first place wins, and then moving into the master divisions. And we saw Hawk pulling out and an upset in the women's under 50 division. So really just high level competition, the over 65 male and female as well. I feel like I learned so much from watching these athletes compete, especially across the age divisions and how they take different approaches to their Poomsae. And I had a great time, Coach Brand. I'm so glad I was able to be here with you.
Yeah, congratulations to every single athlete that was out there competing. It was our first time event here, our Summer of Poomsae. It was just like you just jumped in. And we were here to like catch you and take you through the suspense, the drama, the action-packed adventure of the whole thing. So we really hope that you enjoyed it all. We certainly enjoyed doing the commentating, right, Miyako?
Absolutely. And speaking of commentating, we now have seen episode 7 air. So I'm allowed to say, Coach Brand, congratulations on winning your division.
Well, thank you very much. It was a lot of fun competing in this event, and I'm really looking forward to every event that USAT hosts after this one. And I just want to say congratulations to everybody else who competed in any of the divisions. You know, first place, second place, 20th place, whatever it was, congratulations on getting out there, because that's the first step in learning and reaching for the next level. So thank you, Miyako, for taking this ride with me. And I really look forward to jumping into the cadet and junior divisions on future episodes. And
that's right. We have
also the interviews of the 2020 World Championship team. Don't tell
Coach Brand dropping the secrets. Don't go anywhere. All summer long, we're going to have episodes for you cadets and juniors coming up, and even more episodes coming up after that. So keep tuning in. Check out our Facebook. Comment on that YouTube live stream. Let us know what you're thinking about the divisions. It was so great to be here with all of you. Again, I'm Miyako Yerick.
And I'm Barbara Brand, along with Jose Villapando, the genius behind all the magic you see on every one of these episodes. Thank you very much to Jose for putting it all together.
And now over to Jason and Sherman for more chopping it up.
I want to chop it up with them next time.
Amazing competition. Wow. Just wow, Sherman. Just wow. That's all I got to say. Yeah, so impressed.
Wow is fair. Wow is fair.
Yeah, just elite. Again, we have champions coming back, competing to try to win this title. This is a tough one to do. You're doing it virtually, and again, the flexibility, the way athletes just find ways to get the job done. And again, that's what elite athletes do. That's what champions do, and that's what all elite athletes have done. So again, I'm just going to say, wow. I'm also going to say, you ready for some results?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. I have the results in the men's under 30 male. That's the black belt division. You ready? First place goes to Alex Lee.
Yes.
Second place, Ethan Sun.
Yeah.
The third place comes up as Brian Maher and Justin Chen. Congratulations. That is first, second, and 2/3 in the male under 30 black belt division. How about the under 30 female black belt division? First place, Karen Real. Second place goes to Yerim Zhang. Third place, Alice DJ Munoz. Also third place, Trinity Wong. Impressive by those ladies. And I will note, Alex Lee, Karen Real, about a year ago or so.
Just about a year ago, right?
You know what happened? Pan American gold medals, the first in the history of Poomsae at the Pan Am Games.
Karen Real is the real deal. I want you to know.
I don't know how I feel about that, but she is very, very.
You liked it. You liked it.
So again, congratulations. They found a way to get the job done and follow up a major international competition with a major win here at the Summer of Poomsae. So congratulations to all our competitors, and of course our first, second, and 2/3. I've got one more division for you. How about the over 65 male competitors? Let's get right to it. First place goes to Zhang He Pak. Second place, Mitchell Dillard. Third places go to Ken Thorpe and Bruce Gallup. Gentlemen, congratulations on your awards, if you will. Sherman, how about you?
All right, so I've got the over 65 female black belt. First place, Erica Lindhorst. Second place, Tweety Wynn. Third place, Diana Hunt. And third place, Dorinda Bell. Ladies, congratulations on a job well done. Then I've got the male under 50 black belt. First place, Pak Sun Yang. Second place, Victor Chung. Third place, Krishna Sitaram. And third place, Michael Bugarin. Congratulations, gentlemen, on an excellent job. And not to be left out, my final division is the female under 50 black belt. First place, Sung Jin Lee. Congratulations. Second place, Tu Nguyen. Third place, Sheena Kim. And the last third place goes to Susan Bird. Congratulations, ladies. Listen, congratulations to all of these today's competitors. You did a masterful job. You've set a very, the bar for Poomsae in the United States has been set very high, Jason.
Yeah, no question. And it's going to be tough, but those juniors and cadets are going to have to bring it to kind of keep up with this level of competition that these athletes have brought day in and day out through this Summer of Poomsae for the adult division. And Sherm, I'm looking forward to more, but I'm going to step back for a second and say, I just want to give my congratulations again to all the competitors, because they spent time and got a chance to interview several of the athletes, and they talked about how they had to redo it over and over again because it just wasn't right. So I understand we can appreciate the hours, the time, and the effort that you put into it. So when it's a heartfelt congratulations from all of us here at USA Taekwondo, but I just want to say, color me impressed.
Nice. Okay. Color, you impressed. That's very colorful language. Listen, cadets and juniors, get ready, because your turn is coming. Your seniors have showed you how to do it.
Yes.
So now we're expecting you to get it done. Jay, it's always a pleasure. You're my man. Like I don't even understand. Now you out on the beach in the sand. And from me, you ran. So having said all that, I salute you. And you're getting a tip. That was very nice. Listen, this is Jason and Sherman. We are chopping it up. We will be back for the next edition of Summer of Poomsae.